Hi everyone, impromptu live, got the baby, Leo's at soccer practice and Alex is with him. I got the little one here and this is an impromptu live. Usually I try to let you know, and the reason why it's impromptu is because I probably would never have the balls to get on here and do it if it wasn't. So I'm sorry about the music. Just got her little remote here. So I realized that I've been playing it really safe with what I've been saying lately. I haven't really been me. Like a lot of you who know me in real life know that I'm very opinionated. I have an opinion about everything, and I am usually pretty substantially backed up in the data that I have to form that opinion. And then I see shit like this hashtag stuff, the Me Too movement, the Why I Didn't Report, the Believe Survivors, and it makes my skin fucking crawl. Yeah, that would be the best way to describe it. It makes me so angry that you all think that you're doing fucking anything by hashtagging, because you're not doing jack shit. All you're doing is giving yourself an opportunity to talk about something that you probably should have gone to therapy for. You probably should have friends to talk about this with. You've probably already dealt with it with some other ways, and now you're adding to this conversation thinking that you're going to do anything when the damage was already done, the damage is being done, and the damage continues to be done because I highly doubt any of you are willing to post this on social media, but then go ahead and tell your 10-year-old kid about it. How many of you are why I didn't report and then going and telling your 15-year-old son about the time that you were date raped? You probably aren't, right? Are you? Please, if I'm wrong, please let me know, because I don't feel like that's the conversation that's being had, and it's the conversation that needs to be had. Because honestly, the reason why you didn't report is because your mother and your grandmother and your great-great-grandmother and your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandmother told you that your voice didn't fucking matter, so why would you report it? The guys are going to be believed anyway. Men are better than women. Women's voices don't matter. What you say doesn't matter. No one's going to believe you anyway. Keep your mouth shut. Keep your legs together. Maybe don't go out and drink. Don't wear that slutty outfit. It's all put on the woman, and it's all put to show and prove over and over why she's the weaker sex, when ladies, we fucking birth. We are the stronger sex. We are, not the men that spend 15 seconds fucking us and then create the life within that 15 seconds. It's us that hold that baby inside of us for 9 months, that push that baby out, that until the 1900s, every fucking baby was born at home. Everyone. Every single baby until the 1900s was born at home. In the whole world. Okay? And guess what? For 5,000 years, every baby that's been born, the mother has then told her daughter that she's weak, that she's less than, that she doesn't have a voice, that if she gets raped, it's her fucking fault. Why I didn't report isn't doing anything because you're not telling your 10-year-old about it, your 8-year-old about it, your 3-year-old about it. And I'm not saying you have to tell your 3-year-old you got raped, but your 3-year-old, when he asks you, why don't you have a penis, or why don't you have a winky, or whatever it is that you call it, most women don't even have a name for their pussy. And vagina is actually incorrect. Vagina is not the correct term. Vagina is this much space of musculature that we have that is for the penis. And the whole rest of it is not. And I'm going to breastfeed because it's going to calm her down. And you guys can just deal with it. Oh, yes, you're fine. See? Men can't do this. Men can't just, like, calm a baby down by whipping out a titty. Can they? No. But we're the weaker sex. Somehow we're the weaker sex. Somehow it's our fault. So for those of you just popping on, I'm going to say it again just because I'm real riled up about it. JJ, hi. Olivia, Tiffany, Kelly, Laura, Lori, everybody, hello. So I already have kind of gone through this already, but the reason why I'm so mad about this whole hashtag why I didn't report and hashtag believe the survivors and hashtag me too is because you're not going out and telling your kids about it. Like, I guarantee it. I already asked this. If you are one of those people that has posted the why I didn't report, please tell me if you went and then immediately told your teenage son about why you didn't report a rape or sexual assault when you were a kid. Because I don't believe you did. Because your mother told you that your voice didn't matter. Because your grandmother told her that. And maybe, you know, forever, for 5,000 years. We have lived in a patriarchy for 5,000 years. We have more war, more violence, more sexual assault, more poverty, more anything ever in the history of the last 5,000 years. And we have the least amount of women in any sort of control or power. I drive around town looking at all these political signs, and I see like 4 of them that have female names. It's the same 4 females that have been running in my district for as long as I've been able to vote. I believe in term limits. So I'm not voting for those ladies because their terms are up as far as I'm concerned. But they're the only ladies running. Why? Because all the other ladies have been told that they're not good enough. They're not smart enough. They don't know enough. They'll never be able to be a congressperson. Oh, you have to stay home and raise your kids. That's the one that kills me because I am more than just a mother, okay? I'm going to be running in 2020, so y'all better watch out, first of all. I've been saying that for years, and it's happening. I'm announcing it right now. What I'm running for, I don't know, but I am going to be out there in 2020 because I can't fucking take it anymore. I cannot take the hypocrisy of women sitting on social media. See how mad I am? Women sitting on social media thinking, I don't want to cut her out, thinking that they're doing anything because you're not doing fucking anything. You're not doing anything because you're not teaching the next generation. My 3-year-old, oh, that's what I was talking about. My 3-year-old knows that I have a pussy. Okay, that's what we call it because that is what it is. The external genitalia and the internal genitalia all together is a pussy. Say it with me, pussy. It's okay. It's a kind of funny word to say. But if you're going to tell your son that he's got a penis, you can't just say, and your sister has a vagina. Because that would be like saying that your son has a scrotum. If that makes sense, like the penis, that describes the entire male genitalia. Vagina only describes a tiny little musculature between the external and internal genitalia of a woman. That's the vagina. The whole thing, the G-spot, the cervix, the vulva, the clitoris, the labia, the vagina, all of it together, that is a pussy. But we don't teach that. We teach vagina. We teach that periods are gross. We don't even teach our boys about what a period is. I just had this conversation with my 10-year-old because he's starting to figure out the mama gets a little crazy around the new moon or the full moon. And he wanted to know why. He's like, Mom, I noticed that once a month, every couple of weeks you get really upset and really frustrated with us and you're apologizing a lot. What's going on? And I was just honest with him. And I said, you know what, son? I am PMSing like a motherfucker right now. And what that means is that next week, because I don't have a baby in my belly, I'm going to bleed. Oh, is that why there's sometimes blood in like the trash cans? And we were able to have an open, honest conversation about my period that wasn't gross. And it also wasn't just purely scientific, factual. And it wasn't like, oh yeah, and by the way, women, because women are the lesser sex, because of the curse of Eve, because of whatever the fuck the patriarchy wants us to say to the men. This is why I bleed. No, I bleed because I'm a female. And females who are mammals bleed when they're not pregnant. And that's like really all my 10-year-old really needs to know. I'm sure that in another year or 2 or whatever, we can go more into the more nitty gritty of like, here's the ovulation cycle, blah, blah, blah. But it was enough to get the conversation started. Okay. Same thing with my 3-year-old. My 3-year-old knows that he and daddy and brother have a penis, and he knows that mommy and sister have a pussy. Why you didn't report it is because you were taught that you don't matter. That's why you didn't report it. And how you can make sure it's not your kid is by fucking talking to them about it. Tell them that you were raped. Tell them that you were sexually assaulted. Tell them how it made you feel as a human. Tell them how degraded you felt. Tell them how traumatized you were. But do not get on social media and post your story and then wonder why it hasn't stopped. Don't. Don't you for one fucking second think that you are doing anything by posting on social media, because you're not doing anything at all. There are 7 billion people on this planet, and less than 1/10 of them have access to social media. We don't think about it because we're in a first world country and we have social media, and tons of people in America have it, and we all have internet access. But when you actually take the whole world, like that much of it has access to social media. That's it. And you're not being taught this in school, obviously, because if you're like me, I live in Utah, we were taught an abstinence-only program. We were taught that boys masturbate, boys have wet dreams, okay? This is how ingrained the patriarchy is. In maturation class, which is what they call it here, maturation class in Utah, so a very conservative state, that makes a whole lot of babies. By the way, we make a lot of babies here in Utah, so we are having a lot of sex, but none of them know what they're doing. Most women aren't getting off. Most women don't have a pleasure practice. All these things that need to happen for a matriarchy to actually exist, for us to tap into our pussy power and be able to, like, and I'm not saying this is like democratic pussy. I'm not a Democrat. Y'all know this. I'm a libertarian. I was not wearing a pussy hat. I'm saying pussy power because it's literally where our power is held as women, and we are not taught that. So in maturation class, in sex ed, whatever the fuck you want to call it, when you're like in 5th grade, right? Right when the boys are starting to get boners and the girls might be starting to get their periods soon, they have you meet, and in Utah you meet after school. It's like an optional thing. So first of all, it's optional. Learning about your genitalia should not be optional. It's a part of your body. You should be learning it like algebra. Algebra should be optional, actually. Let's make algebra optional, and let's make health sciences teach people about their bodies and about the other sex too. How crazy would that be? So they separate the woman, the boys and the girls get separated, and they meet after school, so it's totally optional. So only like half of the kids show up, and in the boys' half, they teach the boys about boners. They explain that they're gonna get a hard on. They teach them how to, like, oh, you might have to cover yourself up with a book. They teach them about wet dreams. They teach them about ejaculation. They teach all of this stuff. They teach them about how girls, and like everything. Guys get a full up close and personal look at their penis, and they know exactly what's going on and how to handle it. Girls are brought into an auditorium and told that this is their vagina. As I just said, that's actually incorrect. It's your pussy. You can call it a cunt if you want. I just think it's a really harsh word. It's a beautiful word. It's just more harsh. I'm trying to help Regina Thomashire reclaim the pussy, okay? So we're taught this is your vagina. It's gross. It's going to bleed once a month. You have to get the blood off of everything. You're going to have to buy all these different products to help with the smell and with your bleeding and to make sure it's pretty. And we're not taught about pleasure. We're not taught that we might get turned on. We're not taught that our clitoris has 8,000 nerve endings and its only purpose is for pleasure. There's literally not any other organ between either the male or the female that is only for pleasure except for the clitoris. The penis is a multi-tool that has 4,000 nerve endings in the whole thing. The clitoris is like this big and has 8,000 nerve endings just right there. See, I'm probably blowing your mind right now. You're probably learning all this stuff right now that you've never even heard before. Or if you have, then did you teach it to your daughter? My mom just popped on. My mom didn't teach me this shit. Because she was told she didn't have to. She either thought that the public school system was going to do it, or she had been shamed into thinking that she didn't need to. Like, and I consider myself very well versed. I went to a very open church. We had like a co-ed sex class together, like in our church, the Unitarian church. They did it called the OWL program, I want to say. So that's why I know a lot more about this stuff with like what the guys learn, because I saw it too, but I noticed even then that there was a disconnection. Like, why is it that the boys are being taught that they're going to have wet dreams, but girls aren't ever told that we have wet dreams? I've had a wet dream. Anyone else? How about you give me some hearts? Give me some hearts if you've ever had a wet dream and you're a female. Like, it happens. We get sexy dreams all the time, but we're not taught that it's okay. We're just not. We're taught that it's not okay. We're taught that our job is to lay there flat on our backs, take it, get pregnant, deal with the fuck. Don't even get me started on pregnancy. Birth the baby in a hospital with all sorts of drugs, because as soon as you are pregnant, you're sick and there's something wrong with you and you need all this stuff and all these interventions, and someone's got to cut you open to get the baby out because you don't know how to do it on your fucking own because you're a woman and you don't know anything. Do you see how ingrained this is? That ingrained in our society, that the one thing that is the most beautiful, sacred thing on this planet, childbirth, for most Western women, is a disease. You're sick. You are unfit to be regular part of society if you're pregnant. I was blessed. I'm super tall. Most people can't tell that I'm pregnant until I'm like 7 or 8 months pregnant, so they don't treat me differently. I know a lot of people that are smaller, like shorter girls that show right away, and they totally get treated differently. So why I didn't report isn't doing anything, because you didn't teach your daughters about their own rights, about their own voices, about what is acceptable. And you sure as fuck didn't tell your guys, your sons, that women aren't just objects. Right? Because that's what guys are taught. Guys are taught that girls are there for their sexual enjoyment. It's girls' fault. They dress slutty. It's a girl's fault because she had a shirt that was too short. That's the reason why you had sex with her, son. What about that guy that like raped some unconscious girl and he got like 3 months of jail or whatever? That was a big thing last year. Nobody seemed to be going. And again, like I said, I want to know. I would love to know, all the people in the replay, how many of you who posted a hashtag I didn't report because turned around and then told your nephew, turned around and told your brother, turned around and told, any of the younger generation, because that's what our job is, okay? You don't want to see this cycle continue to go and go and go and go. I do not want my daughter to be one of these girls who has to post in 30 years that she got raped when she was 15 and she didn't know that it was okay to report it. First of all, she's not going to ever be in a position like that because she going to know Taekwondo and she going to beat some asses because she got 2 older brothers, right? But it's besides the point. I'm not trying to say that I'm not trying to discredit trauma or rape or sexual assault, okay? I have to make that clear now that I'm 18 minutes into my rant. And I know this is a rant, and that's why I had to do it, because I never would have done this if I was in like a calm state of mind. It has to be a rant because it's that passionate. When you're passionate about something, it is a rant. It just is. I know lots of people that were raped. It is not okay ever. It is the most disgusting, lowest form of abuse that you could ever imagine or ever encounter. And it's horrible, and I really do empathize with anyone that has been through that trauma. Do you want your daughter to go through that trauma? That is the point of my post. Because unless you're willing to have these conversations with your kids, it's never going to stop. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Because the reason why it's still a problem now is because our mothers that got raped didn't tell us, and their mothers that got raped didn't tell them. And every time a male got away with it, all it ever did was continually teach the other women around there that men are strong, women are weak, they are right, you are wrong, they are telling the truth, you are lying. So until we are willing to bring this conversation out of a social media aspect and into the personal aspects of our homes, nothing is going to change. Not a damn thing. Like I just said, the school system sex ed, if you're lucky enough to have it, I know that there's some states that don't even have anything at all. Utah has a little something. I just described it. It's total bullshit. It doesn't teach you anything. Again, makes guys sound like, oh, you're pleasure machines and you're gonna have wet dreams and all this stuff. And girls were never taught that that's okay. You have all these girls that are shamed because maybe they're kissing their boyfriend and they're grinding up against their boyfriend and they think it feels good. And their boyfriend's like, ooh, let's have sex. And the girl's like, I don't want to have sex, because she doesn't know that she's stimulating herself by grinding on her boyfriend. Her boyfriend knows. Her boyfriend totally knows, because her boyfriend has talked to his friends, and her boyfriend has talked to his dad, and her boyfriend is, totally knows all this stuff because he's been watching porn, and it's been totally okay for him since he was 10 years old to explore his sexuality. But she's 15 and she's never been told that it's okay to explore hers, and all she knows is that it feels good when she's grinding up against her boyfriend, but she has no intention of spreading her legs and getting fucked. But the guy's like, you're putting off all these pheromones and you're grinding on me and you're about to get off just by through your pant legs. What do you mean you don't want to fuck? Because we don't teach our women that that's what we're doing. We don't teach our girls that it's okay to masturbate. We don't teach our girls that it's okay to have self-pleasure exercises. I'm 30, and I literally learned in April that guys aren't the only ones who masturbate. I'm serious. You can laugh at me all you want. I really did. I thought that it was only guys and really promiscuous girls, because the only girls that I ever knew masturbated were whores, as far as I was concerned. Like the one that had a boyfriend every other week, or every party was hooking up with a new guy. Those were the girls that masturbated, as far as I knew. Had no idea that the reason that they were masturbating was the reason why they were getting so many guys, because your pleasure is connected completely. But the guys all knew what was going on. The guys could all feel what was happening with her. So my 22-minute rant really comes down to this, guys. Your social media posts are not going to change the world. They're not even going to make a dent. It's going to be a new hashtag in 4 months. So instead of creating all these hashtag movements, how about you turn the conversation from out here to in here and start having genuine conversations with your children, with any child that's in your life, any niece, nephew. Talk to your brothers and sisters about this if you want to have. I don't have brothers and sisters, so I don't know where the line really would be. But how on earth can we think that the world's going to change if we don't teach our children? The Dalai Lama has a quote where he says that if every 8-year-old was taught how to meditate, we would, hold on. There we go. Let's see if I can turn it down. The Dalai Lama has a quote where he says, if every 8-year-old was taught how to meditate, we would create world peace in 1 generation. We'll take that one step further. If every 8-year-old was taught how to meditate and was taught how to value a woman, or even the value of themselves, no matter what was between their legs, then we would really have world peace. Because it's more than just meditating. It's more than just having a mindfulness practice. It's realizing that you are not better than anyone else, and you're also not less than anyone else, which is the bigger problem that we have. We have way too many people in this world. Sorry, she's literally meditation respect. Hey, New. Hey, Doug. Hi, all these people. Didn't even see you. I really get so frustrated that so many of my friends, it hurts. It hurts me so deeply that so many of my friends are a part of this. I can click on that hashtag and probably 25 of my friends are going to have posted about that. Do you know how fucked up that is? 25 are brave enough to post on social media. That means probably another 100 or so aren't. And then there's all the people that aren't even on social media. Like I said, there's 7 billion people on this planet, and less than 1/10 of them even have internet access. So your movement doesn't do anything because you're not really affecting any change when you post on social media. When you affect change is when you have the hard conversations. When you're able to, I realize I'm on social media right now. It's kind of ironic, but I'm also telling you about how I had a couple of conversations this week. 3-year-old knows that we have pussies and he and daddy and brother have penises. My 10-year-old knows that around the full moon every month, mama gets a little crazy because within that next week, I start my period. And, you know, I'm lucky enough to have a synced enough cycle. There's women out there that don't. I've got friends that have a period for a month and then they don't have one for 3 months and then have a period for like a week and then they don't for like another 4 months and then blah, blah, blah. Like we're all over the place, but we don't even talk about it. We don't talk about vaginas. We don't talk about sex. We don't talk about pussies. We don't talk about pleasure. We don't talk about any of this stuff. All we do is think I'm a mom and I gotta teach my kids how to clean themselves and whatever. But this public school system, it's gonna teach them everything else. And whatever it doesn't teach them must not be important enough for them to know. Even though the public school system is where a lot of these rapes have apparently occurred, which is pissing me off too. In locker rooms, at parties that then afterwards people were slut-shamed at school for it. Like, all because our parents, which is ironic, right? Because they were all like from the 60s, and I know a lot of you guys who are on here are from the 60s too. But because whoever was around during the sexual revolution, let's put it that way, of the 1960s, didn't take the time to then teach their children, which would be me, those of us born in the 80s or so, that these things existed, that orgasms were okay, that self-pleasure practices were normal, that girls get turned on just like guys do, that your job isn't just to lay there and take it if you're a girl. All these things, more than just I didn't want to and so I said no. Like, no, you are a fucking sovereign person. You have the right to kick that jackass in the balls and scream as loud as possible. And again, I am not trying to discredit anyone who has been raped or sexually traumatized. I'm remembering times in my high school career where girls would say they got raped at a party. And I'd be like, how did that happen? How did you get raped at a party? There were so many people around. And there's reasons, but the base of the reason is because she was told she was going to be the liar. Yeah. She was taught that her voice didn't matter and that she better just lay there and take it and it'll be over soon. Is that what we want to teach our daughters? I'm not teaching my daughter that. My daughter is going to know that she has a right and she has a voice and she has every power inside of her to fight with every ounce of her being, fight for what she knows is right. And what she will know is right is that women and men are equals. Women are the stronger sex in many ways, as I already said. We have a lot longer contribution to life than 15 seconds, like our male counterparts. But the men in our lives do a lot of amazing things. And I know a lot of amazing guys who would never do that. And when they find out that there was a rape, I have a friend who went to jail because he went and beat the shit out of someone for raping somebody that he knew. Like, there are definitely good guys out there, but the majority of men are unfortunately, good or bad, they're still taught that they're better than women. And then you have the other side of all these women who think they're better than men. No one's better than anyone, guys. We're all equal. We're all sovereign. We're all individual souls on this planet trying to create an amazing, pleasurable experience in our 3D body. And we have all this political bullshit going on. So, now that my 30-minute rant is over, please talk to your children about this. Don't keep it on social media. Don't keep it in your safe circle of friends. Talk to your church leaders. Talk to your parents. Talk to your brothers and sisters. Talk to your kids. Please talk to your kids. Teach them. Don't assume someone else is going to teach your kid how to be good or right or respectful or have any sort of, respect for women or men. Do it yourself. Or, maybe you shouldn't have had kids. If you're not going to take the responsibility to teach your children ethics and what's right and what's wrong and what's acceptable and not in society, then don't add to the gene pool, guys. It's not worth it. I don't have the energy to teach other people's kids how to do this. I mean, I might. Maybe you'll see me here in another year or two and I'll be like, hey, we're having a sex education right now. Get your kids on. We're going to do this. But right now I don't. Right now I've got my 3 little humans. I've got my business. I'm more than just a mother. I'm more than just a wife. I'm a whole human. And my whole human heart is begging you all to please just teach your kids. Just teach them and tell them that a hashtag movement isn't going to change the world. What's going to change the world is them. She's going to change the world, guys. Okay. Thank you all for watching. I love you all. We love you all. Say bye.